Here's a quote from Wayne Dyer. It's on your screen right now. If you believe it'll work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't work out, you'll see obstacles. Have you ever known someone who looks at the exact same situation you're looking at, but they see something totally different? I'm sure you've noticed that two people can look at the exact same situation and see totally different things. One sees a chance to grow, and the other sees a dead end. One sees possibility, the other sees nothing but problems. This quote might seem simple at first glance, but it holds profound truth. What you believe shapes what you see. It's not magic, it's mindset. And once you really get that, it can change everything. Hi, I'm Kate, and I make YouTube videos to help you build your best life possible. Welcome to Kate's Wandering Thoughts. If you've just stumbled onto this channel, I hope you'll subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Now let me repeat the quote by Wayne Dyer. If you believe it'll work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't work out, you'll see obstacles. So now let's break this down together. You've probably already thought about this very topic when you notice how some people seem to always have negative thoughts. But you know what? Your beliefs color your perception. They influence your decisions, and they shape your reality. Think of your mind like a camera lens. Whatever belief you screw onto it changes how the picture looks. If you believe the world is hostile, you'll start to notice every rude cashier, every honking horn, every frustrating delay. But if you believe the world is generally kind, you'll start noticing the smiles, the people who hold the door open, the little acts of generosity. Same world, different lens. Wayne Dyer's quote is especially powerful when you're at a crossroads in life. Maybe you're considering a career change, thinking about moving to a new country or starting something creative later in life. These are big leaps, and it's easy to get stuck in a mindset that focuses on all the things that could go wrong. I've been in that position. When I made the decision to leave everything familiar behind and move to Indonesia, I could have focused on the reasons not to go. I had no safety net. I didn't know anyone. I wasn't sure how things would unfold, but deep down, I believed it could work out. I believed that even if I stumbled, I'd learn something. And because of that positive belief, I started seeing opportunities instead of blockades. Now, I'm not saying blind optimism is the answer to everything. There's a difference between belief and denial. Belief is choosing to focus your energy on what can go right, even while you still acknowledge the risks. Denial is pretending the risks don't exist. What Dyer is talking about is belief with open eyes and a courageous heart. When you believe something is possible, your brain goes to work in a different way. It starts scanning your environment for clues, resources, people who can help you move forward. It tunes into possibilities. It notices the open doors instead of the closed ones. Here's a simple example. Say you believe you're too old to learn a new language. You'll probably avoid signing up for classes. And even if you do, you'll end up sabotaging yourself by thinking, I'm terrible at this. Or, my memory's not good anymore. But what if you believed you could learn, even if it took a bit longer? Suddenly you're more patient with yourself. You're excited to learn new words. You find fun ways to practice, and you start noticing how many people your age are doing the very same thing. This shift in perspective doesn't just make you feel better, it actually creates different outcomes. Your belief stimulates your behavior, which leads to new actions, which then lead to new results. You see the ripple effect? The reverse is also true. If you believe something won't work out, your brain puts up roadblocks. It whispers, "Don't bother. Why try?" Or, "This always fails." So you start procrastinating. You hesitate. You miss opportunities. You don't even recognize opportunities when they appear because your brain is looking the other way. Think about how many dreams have died, not because they were impossible, but because someone convinced themselves they couldn't do it before they even tried. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about pretending everything's perfect. Life throws curveballs. Plans fail. People disappoint us. But belief isn't about perfection. It's about possibility. It's about resilience. It's about staying open to growth, even when things don't go the way you hoped. Let's take a look at some real life examples of this principle in action. Have you ever met someone who just lights up a room when they walk in? People are drawn to them. Often those people believe that everyone likes them. They don't consider that people might not like them. And because of that belief, they attract kindness from people they come into contact with. I remember one woman I know who was definitely that way. She wasn't particularly attractive. She was very overweight, but she just expected that everyone would like her. And they did, because that's what she expected. On the flip side, you may know someone who expects to be ignored or mistreated. And somehow, that's exactly what seems to happen to them over and over. Are they unlucky? Or does their scowling face show others that they know everyone will dislike them? I know some people like that, and I bet you do too. Another example: two people lose their jobs. One thinks, "Oh, this is a disaster. I'll never find another job." The other person thinks, "Well, maybe this is a push I needed to do something different." Who do you think is more likely to bounce back stronger? I think you know the answer. Belief is the starting point of every story you tell yourself. And those stories become the blueprint for how you live. Are you at the tipping point? Do you want to shift beliefs that have been holding you back? Can you do that? Of course you can. Start by becoming aware of your inner dialogue. What's the story you're telling yourself? Do you catch yourself saying, "I could do that, but," or "I should have done it, but, it's too late now"? Notice the language of your inner dialogue. Challenge it. Ask yourself, is that really true? Or is that just a belief I picked up somewhere along the way? Next, get curious. Instead of saying, this won't work, try asking yourself, what would happen if this did work? That one question can open a window in your mind and let some possibilities in. Also, surround yourself with people who believe in possibilities. Now, you don't need cheerleaders who ignore your struggles, but you do need people who can see your strengths and remind you of them when you forget. You can also keep a journal of your small wins. When you start noticing moments where things did work out, even in very small ways, write it down to start building evidence for a new belief that things can go right, that you are capable, and that your efforts matter. Above all, treat yourself with compassion. You're human, and belief, like anything else, is something you can develop and grow over time. Just keep in mind that changing beliefs and attitudes takes some time. It doesn't happen overnight. You'll have to put some effort into it. Let me go back to Wayne Dyer's quote. If you believe it'll work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't work out, you'll see obstacles. If you find yourself seeing an obstacle, stop and make a conscious decision to change that obstacle into an opportunity. Don't let the negative thought continue to occupy your brain. Ask yourself, what do I really believe right now? And then ask, is that belief helping me or hurting me? You might be surprised that you can rephrase the belief or thought to be more positive. Because if you believe it'll work out, there's a really good chance it will. Not because of luck, but because you're tuned in to see the open doors that were right there in front of you, waiting for you all along. And let me end with this anonymous quote I saw recently. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. So what do you think? We all have some negative self-talk. The key is to recognize when you hear that negative voice and change the words. That's how transformation begins, so that eventually most of what your little voice says is just positive, encouraging thoughts. Thanks for taking a look at this issue with me that we all have to deal with. And please share this video with a friend who might need some inspiration today. See you next time.